Welcome back to Iron Suits. I am your host, Marwan Killu, coach to CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives who are at the top of their game, but tired of feeling like their body isn't keeping up with their success. What is going on? We are in December, and it's not long until the holidays start. Everybody's looking forward to having some time off, I'm sure. I hope you guys are actually going to have have a good one. Yeah. Apart from that, you're going to be spending it with lots of family, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm actually spending it in Christmas. We're spending over here in the UK, but we are going to Cancun for the New Year. So we're going to meet up with some of my cousins and my brother who lives in Minnesota with his wife and 2 children, and my parents are going to be heading over there as well. My other brother who lives in the UK going to be going over there. So it's going to be quite a nice occasion, actually. Hopefully it's going to be quite nice, the weather. I'm hoping for a bit of sun because right now the weather over here in the UK has been miserable. We've just had rain after rain after rain after rain. And I don't know how many millimeters we've had, but I think something like in the last 2 days must have had something like over 20 millimeters of rain. Luckily, the drains are very, very, very good over here. They are well prepared for the rain. So it's just like, whatever. It rains, the drains are used to it. And the only thing is, the ground is getting a bit soft, so I don't know what it's like to grow some crop. I'm sure they've not been able to grow the crop like they wanted to because it's just too wet to do anything and the lack of sun. Anyway, so the other day I was sort of sitting in the airport, the other week, not the other day, and I was sort of like grabbing a coffee before my flight. I like to have a coffee before I go, just sort of like, I was never really a big coffee drinker, never used to like it so much. And I was like, oh, I don't need all that energy and stuff. And like, I don't need the energy to have from coffee, right? But I just feel that it's, how should I say? It relaxes me a bit. I don't know if anybody else has got that kind of, shares that point of view, right? I feel it relaxes me a bit. I'm more chilled out. Um, that's not to say that I have this massive, shall we say, keep adding more and more and more to my coffee. That's not really what I do. I just like to have one sort of medium coffee, and that's cool. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just get bored of just drinking water all the time. Do you know what I mean? I'm already drinking like 4 liters of water. And so to like add on any more, it just feels a chore. I just can't be bothered. I want something different. So I like to have tea. I like to have coffee. Anyway, so I see this guy, like maybe he was mid-40s, wearing a nice expensive suit, like looks tailored, okay, and not something that you buy off the rack. He had a nice watch as well. I can't remember what it was, but you could tell it's successful. Do you know what I mean? Like the way he carries himself, first class ticket hanging out of his pocket. And this dude is like absolutely annihilating a Cinnabon, like not even a small one, a big one with extra frosting. And he's washing it down with like a large Coke at 9 o'clock in the morning. And look, I'm not the food police, right? I don't give a shit what people eat. But watching this, and I'm thinking, this guy probably makes some expensive, expensive decisions, like maybe 6-figure decisions on his last flight, right? Maybe he closed the deal. Maybe he solved a massive company problem. Maybe he made a strategic call that affects dozens of people. Who knows, right? But he can't make a good decision about breakfast. And here's what really got me. Like, he didn't look happy eating it either. You know that look where someone is eating something, but they kind of like disgust with themselves while doing it? It's like they're having an argument with themselves, right? Between themselves, like whether they should eat it or not. It's like there's this disconnect, and but they're still shoveling it in. So this was literally him. And I started thinking about this disconnect because I see it all the time with the guys I work with, right? Successful people, smart people, people who make complex decisions every day that requires judgment, strategy, and discipline. But when it comes to their body, it's like all this decision-making ability just disappears, and just blows my mind. And it's not just food. It's not just food, right? It's the workout programs they choose as well, the challenges they sign up for, and the way they approach fitness in general. And it's like this massive gap in between how they operate in business and how they operate with their health. Like in business, they're strategic, they're measured, they find their minimum effective dose, right? They build systems and they think long term. But with fitness, like this fucking blows my mind, right? Suddenly they're doing 75 hard. They're training 6 times a week. They're going all in with some extreme program that they found on Instagram. Like, you business owners would laugh at anyone who believes in a shortcut, money making shortcut. Like, you would laugh at these people, right? You'd think like there's no such thing, but you'd find someone who, like, or rather with fitness, you'd go and find the program that will give you the shortcut. And like, and these people wonder, you guys wonder as well, like I'm talking to you as well, why you can't stick to these kind of programs. So this is really what we're talking about today, because I think the most successful people, and this probably applies to you, because if you're watching this or listening to me on, if you're watching on YouTube or listening to me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, like podcast app, not program, that you have, then you're successful, right? You're a winner. And so they are applying completely the wrong mental code to fitness. You're applying the wrong mental code. So you're treating it like a heroic challenge that needs to be conquered, like a mountain that you need to climb, right? Like something requires extreme effort and willpower. And that's exactly why you keep failing. So let me paint a picture for you and tell me if this sounds familiar. Monday morning, you wake up with a fire in your ass. Okay, this is it. This time is going to be different. Maybe you got a new program. Maybe it's 75 hard. Maybe it's CrossFit. Maybe it's a new diet protocol, right? Or whatever the fuck it is. It could be keto. It could be intermittent fasting. It could be paleo. Or it could be whatever, right? It could be Mediterranean diet, or whatever it is that promises you to lose this time all the weight and keep it off for good. Okay, it doesn't matter which one, it's just the one that you're doing it. And this time it is the one. This time you're committed. And this program, right, it's intense because, like, of course it is, of course it has to be. All right, you're the kind of person who does not do things halfway. 6 days a week, early morning workouts, complete nutrition overhaul. Maybe you're tracking your macros, maybe you're doing 2 workouts a day and you're excited about it. Okay, so tell me if this is familiar. Week 1, you're crushing it. You're a machine. You're that guy. Your colleagues notice, your spouse notices. You notice. Week 2, you're crushing it. Or rather, you're still going strong. Yeah, you're crushing it. You're still going strong. You're tired, but that's part of the process, right? No pain, no gain. Maybe you're traveling and you miss a workout. Then 2. And then your meal prep falls apart because you didn't have time on Sunday. All right. Or rather, you didn't have time in the day to decide what you're going to eat. And so you push through because you are not a quitter. So by week 4, you're exhausted, your body hurts, your sleep is shit, you're irritable, and you've got this growing sense that you are failing again. By weeks 5 or 6, you're done, finished. You tell yourself, I'll start again on Monday. Maybe you just quietly stop. Maybe you keep telling yourself that you're still doing it, even though you're not. And then the shame hits because you know you failed again. And you're supposed to be someone who doesn't fail at things. Now, does that sound familiar? Okay, if that's you, then stick around because today's episode is going to break that cycle for good. And here's what's interesting. Maybe you're running a multi-million-dollar business. Maybe you're leading a team of 50 people. Maybe you're managing a department. Or maybe you're just crushing it in your career, steadily climbing. Right? Whatever the situation, here's the pattern. You're good at what you do. You solve problems. You get shit done. You're not someone who fails at things, but you can't figure out fitness. You can't stick to a workout program for more than a few weeks. You can't consistently make good decisions about what you eat. You keep starting over. Every few months, it's the same cycle. Excuse me, just making sure my mic is on. Mic is on. And look, you're not lazy. You're not lacking discipline because you wouldn't get to where you are if you didn't have discipline. You sure as hell aren't lacking intelligence. So what the fuck is actually going on? And that's what we're going to dive into today, because once you understand what's really going on, then everything else just changes. Now, we've seen this pattern, so let's dig into why it keeps happening. Here's what you really need to understand. The cycle that I just described to you, it's not random. You're not failing because you picked the wrong program or because you didn't try hard enough. You're failing predictably, the same way every single time. And there's a reason for that. The fitness industry has figured something out about people like you. They figured out how to sell you the same solution over and over by packaging it in a language that you cannot resist. Transform your body in 90 days. Unleash your full potential. The elite program for elite performers. Discipline equals freedom, right? No pain, no gain, maybe. Okay? And that speaks to something deep in you, doesn't it, right? You're successful because you've been willing to do hard shit. You've taken on challenges, you pushed through obstacles that would have stopped most people. So when a fitness program promises extreme results through extreme effort, it just feels right. It matches your identity. It matches how you succeeded everywhere else. Except it's not working, is it? Okay. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. What if that very same mindset that got you successful in business, that drive to be exceptional, that ability to do things halfway, that needs to go all in, what if that's exactly what's keeping you fat? So let me ask you something. When was the last time you approached a major business decision by trying to be a hero? Never, right? You don't wake up on Monday morning and thinking, I'm just going to revolutionize our entire system in 30 days through sheer willpower and suffering, right? And that will be insane, right? You break it down. Like, let's take what's something that you can do. Let's think about, I don't know, something real easy. Not something real easy. An example that just comes to the top of my mind is, okay, changing the whole IT infrastructure. Okay, let's just say that you are using Teams, and then you want to use Google as an example, right? So you switch from Microsoft to Google, or whatever company. I'm being overly simplistic. Without knowing how to do it, you just say, okay, by Monday morning, by end of December, we are going to switch to Google Business, whatever it's called. Okay, And so all these hundreds of thousands of emails or whatever communication lines between each of you, just going to be transferred. You don't know how, but you're just going to do it through willpower alone, right? You're just going to go on Google or go on AI and just choose a way to do it, right? So you wouldn't do that. Okay, you break it down, you implement system, you find the minimum effective dose, you'd measure what matters, and you make incremental improvements that compound over time. Okay, so the example that I was talking about doesn't apply to what I just said right now. Okay, I'm like, obviously I don't know everyone's business, but I gave you an example that would sort of be similar to business, rather be similar to fitness. Okay. So with fitness, suddenly you need the extreme program, right? The hero's journey, the epic transformation. And this ties back to my example with Google and Microsoft, right? So the real, I'm asking why, and I'm going to give you the reason, because in business you're secure, you've proven yourself, you've got the results, and you don't need to prove anything anymore to anyone. Okay, but with your body, there's this nagging voice. Every time you look in the mirror, every time you buy a bigger size clothes, every time you get winded going up the stairs, every time you see a photo of yourself, that voice is threatening something primal. Your status, your vitality, your sense of having your shit together. So you're trying to fix it the same way as you fix everything else in your life, through force of will, through extreme effort, through heroic action, right? And here's the thing, fitness doesn't reward heroism, it rewards consistency. And those two are completely different games. Here's what nobody wants to tell you because it doesn't sell programs. The people who are consistently fit, not the influencers, but regular people who maintain their fitness for years, they're not heroes. So if you're to look at somebody like me, I'm fit 365 days of the year. Not because this is my job, but because I'm consistent. I do the minimum effective dose. This year, in the last year, I've gained muscle and lost fat twice. Hey, I've lost well over 100 pounds. I want to say, okay, that maybe 100 is a bit too much, but I want to say about 80 pounds. Okay, twice. And this is strategic. This is not me letting myself go. This has been strategic, where I've strategically bulked. And anybody who knows anything about like bulking and losing weight, everybody says, oh yeah, I just need to lose 20 pounds. Bullshit. Everybody says, yeah, I just need to lose 30, 40 pounds. Bullshit. You don't know how many pounds you need to lose until you actually do it. Okay? And then you'll see really how many pounds that you need to lose. Because thinking that you need to lose 20 pounds and actually losing 20 pounds and then like going to a size that you think, oh, okay, yeah, now I look good, it's completely different. Right. So I thought at the beginning I needed to lose 20 pounds of fat. And it wasn't 20 pounds of fat. It just kept going and kept going and kept going. The first cut was 5 months and nearly almost 6 months. Second cut was 4 months. Right. And I was being consistent. I've only been to the gym on average 4 times a week, training 45 minutes to an hour. That's all. Not been dieting, not been cutting carbs, going low carb, except on the times when I've strategically cut down my calories. I've not cut out my favorite foods. I've not done extreme challenges. I've just been consistent. And the people that you see are consistent. They train 3, maybe 4 times a week. Nothing crazy. Push, pull, squat, hinge, basic movements. Exactly what I did. I eat mostly whole foods because, they're not weighing their chicken breast or tracking every macro. So, okay, I was tracking my macros, but I wasn't tracking every single one. So when I was going out, I estimated how many calories it is. You know, in the summer we were in Marbella in Spain. We went out. We were there for 2 weeks. We went out an average of 4 times a week. So we ate out 8 times, whether it's lunch or dinner. You know, and I don't know how many calories I was eating, but I estimated. Okay, and like the goal is control, not obsession. Okay, not perfection. You know, the people that you see that are fit, they move their bodies daily, they sleep, they manage their stress reasonably well. And that's it. That's the whole game. You know, it's simple, but for some reason, our brains just like to make things complicated. Because if it's not complicated, then it's not good, right? And that's just the way, you know, I'm wired the same way as you guys. And this is the same stuff that I did before. You know, no epic battles, no conquering yourself, no transformation challenges, no hero's journey, you know? Just consistent, unremarkable, boring ass effort compounded over time. You know, I'm 9% body fat. I didn't do anything extreme. I just compound my consistency compounded daily. You know, get my steps in, hit my protein targets, hit my calories, eh? And have a bit of fun in between. Sleep 7, 8 hours, control my stress. That's it. And research shows consistency, I'll get that word right, beats intensity for the long term health every single time. Right. And I can feel your resistance right now. I can just see you right in my mind shaking your head because you're like, oh, no, that can't be right. There must be more to it than this. Surely. Yeah? You know, and that's not ambitious enough. And I'm capable of more than this. We entrepreneurs, business owners, you know, sort of type A guys, we think that if there's no pain, it's no gain. Believe you me, I've been through that process before. Okay, and I've spoken about it in previous podcast episodes. You can go back and listen. Extremes only makes you efficient at the extremes. It doesn't solve anything. You end up ruining your body for the long term. Take it from someone who's done this, worn the t-shirt more times than I care to admit. Okay? And that thought is a problem. That thought is a problem. The ego, the same ego that helped build your business, close deals, lead teams, is the very reason you can't stick to a workout program. Because your ego is keeping you fat. Okay? You can't just not go to the gym 3 times a week and do the basics. That's not heroic enough. That's not special enough. That's not worthy of someone at your level. You need the advanced program, the elite coaching, the extreme challenge. And this is the very thing that I had the discussion with my coach about. My fitness coach, Eric Buck. And I sort of told him a story because during our check-in on last Friday. Okay, so I've got a phone call. I'm just going to tell my wife that I'm in the middle of a podcast. I'm in the middle of a podcast. I'll call you back, yeah? Okay, bye. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so for the last sort of 6 weeks, I've been doing extra exercises. You know, not following my own advice, and I know better. Not following his own advice. You know, even coaches have coaches. And so I've been doing extra exercises, trying to make my abs pop a bit more. You know, I've already got a 6-pack, but I was like, you know what? I just want to make them pop a bit more. So, you know, doing the big exercises, doing the bigger exercises more and more. The big exercises, compound exercises, adding more accessory movements until my body is like, you had enough. So I was doing snatch grip RDLs on Monday as my second set, and I was like, ouch! I feel that pain in my left hip. You know, what was that? What was that about? So like I couldn't hold the weight, so I was like, just put it back. Rested 2 minutes between my rest time between my sets. I pick up the next time. That's not happening. Take it down by 20 kilograms. That's not happening. So I carried on the workout. I'm like, okay, not bad, but not brilliant. So The next day, I was like, I can't really, I can't even walk properly. My back hurts, right? My internal rotation on the left hip went completely. So I was like, sort of like, and when you sit in the 90-90, where one leg is like externally rotated, the other one is internally rotated. Like I couldn't sit with one of my left leg turning in. I had to sort of tip to one side. So I called up my nervous system going. So my ears started clicking, and it's just like, all sorts of like the brain is just like, what are you doing to me, right? So kind of bypassed, not bypassed, the intensity that I was going at just wasn't, the body wasn't able to stabilize. So basically it started to give me all these pain signs to stop me from getting injured. Anyway, that's for another episode. Okay. So go back to you needing the advanced program, the elite coaching, the extreme challenges. Because if you just did what everybody else did, right, or what everybody else can do, what does that say about you? That you are just ordinary, right? Am I right? And this is exactly me. It's like, I can do more. I can do more. Give me more. Why have you only given me 5 exercises today, 3 sets? Let's do more. So you pick the exceptional program and you fail exceptionally. So let's move on and talk about 75 hard for a second. This is my favorite topic, right? That's a program where you do 2 workouts a day. Andy Frisella's 75 hard. And don't get me wrong, I love Andy. I love the content that he comes out with, and I can see why the program is for what it is. I have a problem with people using it for weight loss. I don't have a problem with the program, but I have a problem with people using it for weight loss. Okay? So if you don't know what it is, you do 2 workouts a day. Just look up 75 hard. One has to be outside, drink a gallon of water, follow a diet, no alcohol, read 10 pages, take progress pictures, and if you miss any of it, you start over from day 1. And business owners fucking love 75 hard, right? And if you're doing this to prove something, let me save you trouble. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. You're not showing discipline. You're broadcasting insecurity. It's a loud announcement that you need external rules and public validation to feel accomplished. And here's a kicker. That one mistake and you're out mentality, miss a workout, didn't read your 10 pages, congratulations, you're a failure now. Start over. That's not discipline. That's fragile. In business, when something doesn't go to plan, you pivot, you adapt, you adjust. But with 75 hard, one imperfect day and you're a failure. Life doesn't work like that. Success doesn't work like that. So why the fuck should fitness? Would you, as a CEO, waste your time doing admin just to prove to your employees that you are tough? No. You'd be a fool to trade strategy for busy work. And that's exactly what 75 hard demands. 2 workouts a day? That's not leadership, man. It's ego. It's saying that I'm going to do extra work just to prove that I can suffer. Your role isn't to exhaust yourself for applause. It's to maximize your time and energy where they actually count. And here's what I call it 75 hard, 365 soft. Because what happens on day 76? You go right back to where you were. Maybe not immediately, but you go back. Why? Because it's not sustainable. Unsustainable methods lead to unsustainable outcomes. If the method is not sustainable, the outcome is not maintainable. You didn't build a habit. You completed a vanity project, and there's a massive difference. Okay? A habit is just Tuesday. It's not impressive. It's not Instagram worthy. Okay? It's not a story you tell at dinner parties, but that's what actually keeps you fit for the rest of your life. And, for the absolute lunatics who love doing and live hard, right? The year-long version after 75 hard. Let me ask you something. What are you running from? Because that's not discipline. That's avoidance. You're so terrified of being a normal person who works out 3 times a week that you've turned fitness into a full-time identity. You've made suffering your personality. And here's the truth. The harder you go, the less secure you are. Real confident people don't need to broadcast their discipline 365 days a year. They just quietly handle their shit and move on with their lives. But you need the external validation. You need people to see how committed you are. You need the challenge to define you. That's not strength. That's fragility dressed up as discipline. You don't see me going on social media broadcasting how many days I go to the gym. I don't turn that into my full-time, shall we say, a hobby, even though it's like, even though, shall we say, my full-time job, even though it is my job, if you know what I mean. I am obsessed, but not obsessed. Okay, so I still go out, I still have a life, I still do things that normal people do. I don't need to go and do 2 workouts a day for the rest of my life. Maybe it's not 75 hard for you. Maybe it's CrossFit. Maybe it's keto. Maybe it's carnivore. Maybe it's marathon training. It doesn't matter. The pattern is still the same. Extreme effort leading to burnout, then back to square one. So let's talk about what's actually happening at a primal level. You're successful. You've achieved status in your professional life. But every time you look in the mirror, your primal brain screams, yeah, but you're fat. And that threatens your position in the social hierarchy. Deep down, right, in that ancient brain of yours, physical fitness signals genetic quality, discipline, vitality, leadership capacity. It signals that you're viable. So you try to reclaim that status through heroic effort, through extreme programs, through public transformation declarations, where you have that hashtag and they have that checklist and you're just checking a list, read 10 pages, done, a gallon of water, done, tick, 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 day 1. And guess how many people I see this on Facebook every time? Yeah, 75 hard. They get to like day 10, 20 or whatever. And then there's nothing. Every day they're posting progress pictures. They're posting the checkbox, and then nothing for a few weeks, and then 75 hard again. Like, okay. If you just quietly, if you just quietly showed up 3 times a week and made gradual progress, where's the drama? Where's the heroic arc? Where's the story you tell at dinner parties, right? I don't think you're trying to succeed. You're choosing, here's what's really happening. You're choosing the comforting story of struggling hero over the uncomfortable reality of just being consistent. Because I don't think you're trying to succeed. I think you're trying to have a good story. So if you don't do this, extremes, where's the story you tell at dinner parties? Right? If you go all in on an extreme program and burn out, now you've got a story. Yeah, I was doing 75 hard, training twice a day, but then this massive work crisis hit and I couldn't maintain it. It was Q4. It was kind of Christmas. It was Thanksgiving. See, you didn't fail because you lacked discipline. Circumstances changed, status preserved, identity protected, and you're still fat. And here's a polarizing truth that's going to make some of you angry. Most people don't want to be fit. They want to be fit. They want the identity. They want to signal they're working on themselves. They want this transformation story to tell. But they don't want to do the boring, consistent, unremarkable work. And I can tell you what you want to do right now. You train 3 times per week, eat protein at every meal, walk 8,000 steps, sleep 7 to 8 hours. Most of you won't do it. Not because you don't know how, but because, and not because you don't have the time, but because it's not dramatic enough. It's boring. You'd rather keep buying programs, starting challenges, and failing spectacularly rather than just doing the basics, the boring basics consistently. Because failure at something extreme is more comfortable than something ordinary, than success at something ordinary. If you fail at something extreme, you can say, that was too much, but, at least I went for it. At least I tried. But if you succeeded at something basic, what does that say? That you're just normal, like everybody else? Your ego can't handle that. So you self-sabotage. You pick programs that are too extreme. You set yourself up to fail. And let's get really primal for a second. Every day you stay overweight and out of shape, you're literally choosing decline. You're increasing your risk of heart disease, diabetes, stroke. You're reducing your lifespan, and your lifespan even more dramatically. You're accelerating your own decline, my friend. And you're not doing it because you'd rather have a good story. Or rather, you're doing it because you'd rather have a good story rather than sustainable health. You're choosing to be the hero of your story. Okay? You're choosing the comfort of the heroic narrative over actually being healthy enough to have energy for your kids, to perform at your peak, to see your grandkids grow up. You're choosing ego over longevity. Here's what actually works, and I'm going to be honest with you, and you're going to hate how simple it is. You're going to need to give up being special. Just in fitness. Not in business, not in your relationship, not anywhere else. Just in fitness. Accept that fitness is boring life maintenance. Like brushing your teeth. Like doing the laundry. Like changing your oil. If you change your own oil. I don't. It was just an analogy or a metaphor. I actually don't know which. I don't know the difference between an analogy and a metaphor. I keep getting them confused. Anyway, I digress. Nobody builds an identity around brushing their teeth. Nobody creates a hero's journey around doing laundry. You just fucking do it because it needs to be done. And look, we're not even talking about the identity shift that needs to happen. That's a whole other conversation around for another episode, but that's just the basics. 3 to 4 workouts a week, 45 minutes an hour tops. Basics movements, push, pull, squat, hinge. Progressive overload over time. That's it. Protein with every meal. Simple rules, 1 gram per pound of body weight. Yeah, I know. Some people will say 1 gram per pound of lean body weight. Right? Forget that. Okay? Just keep it simple. If you weigh 200 pounds, aim for 200 grams of protein. Okay? A day. Spread it across your meals. You don't need to. Again, you don't need you don't need perfection. Okay? You just need to you just need control. So I'm not saying basically take a When it's like a banana, you need to get your tape measure and measure the banana. It's just fucking banana. Just put it in your what's it called, in your app. And even now, there are some tools that you can literally just take a picture of it, and then it'll tell you what the meal is and how much it weighs. Like, it's so simple, guys. If you go out, let's just say that you go out and have a burger and chips or fries, as we call it in the UK, with friends. You don't need to weigh the burger, man. Like, who cares? It can be under, it can be over. You just need to be strategic. And I shared exactly how to go out and how to travel when you're and still stay lean in previous episodes. I think it's one of the first episodes. It's very simple. You just need to. It just needs. What's the word? You just need to. I'll come up with the right word. Okay. What's the word? So you just need to pick a burger, man. Like, I don't know how many calories is a burger. Let's just say it's Five Guys burger, right? You're eating a burger, Five Guys burger. Who cares? It can be 1,000 calories, right? We don't know. Just just record it so that you know. And then if you're over on your calories, then you can just take it down over the week. Anyway, that's again, go back into one of the very first episodes and you'll see exactly what I mean. I give you strategies in those episodes. So 8 to 10,000 steps a day, ideally after meals to help digestion. But look, if you're time strapped, then sorry, give me 1 second. Somebody just keeps sending me. My wife just keeps sending me messages. Anyway, okay. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep, manage your stress, don't drink yourself to death. That's the whole game, right? No transformation journey. Sorry, no hero's journey. No status signaling. No posting about it. No telling people you're going back into training. Just shut up and do it, right? For 6 months, for a year, for the rest of your life, man. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to work. Not dramatically, not heroically, not in a way that makes great for a social media post, but you look better, feel better, and perform better. I've seen execs drop 20, 30 pounds in 3 months just by sticking to this. No drama, no challenges, no extremes, just basic consistency. Right? And most importantly, you'll still be doing it a year from now, 5 years from now, because you finally stopped trying to be a fitness hero and just became someone who takes care of their body. Like, if you look at my transformation on Facebook, if you go to facebook.com, Marwan Killu, if you're not following me on there, and just see my transformation, nothing dramatic. I was losing 2 pounds a week just by decreasing my calories. And towards the end of my cut, I was on 2,300 calories. That's a heck of a lot of calories, more than a lot of people would eat a day. Right? On my cut, 2,300 calories. So again, nothing dramatic. I didn't post anything like I'm doing some extreme diet. You can see the changes day by day. Some weeks the changes weren't visible at all. I didn't lose 30, 40 pounds in 2 weeks, in 1 month. 4 months, 6 months first, I think it was 5 months, and then 4 months. Nothing extremes. So here's my, nothing extreme rather. Here's my challenge to you, and I know it's going to trigger your ego. For the next 30 days, I want you to do the minimum. 3 workouts a week, lift something heavy, 45 minutes to an hour, that's it. No cardio or extra cardio because you're feeling good. No additional workouts. No trying to be perfect with your nutrition. Just elaborate your meal prep unless you genuinely enjoy it. Not elaborate. Right? And I want you to notice something. Notice how hard this is for your ego. 3 workouts a week and aim for protein in each meal. And notice how hard it is on your ego. Notice how many times you want to do more because 3 times a week doesn't feel ambitious enough. Notice how you want to add complexity, make it harder, and make it more impressive. And I'm guilty of this even now after so many years of like doing this, doing the extremes and failing. And I like my whole story is about doing extremes and failing. Even at one time, I avoided the bread at church, right? Because it was carbs. I used to give the bread to my wife, or the holy bread to my wife. Gosh, seriously, if you go back and listen over my previous episodes, you see some of the shit that I've done. You'd be like, gosh, what's this guy doing? I'm the same. I'm guilty of it. So, and every time you notice that urge to do more, right? I want you to recognize it for it is, for what it is. It's the same pattern that's kept you from being consistent for years. It's the same pattern that kept you starting over every few months while you succeeded in every area of your life. All right, so I just want to wrap up. I know I've been harsh. I know some of you are like triggered and calling me all sorts of, names under the sun. And I know some of you guys are feeling called out. And honestly, that discomfort that you're feeling, that's your ego recognizing itself in everything that I've said. Right? So you have a choice right now. You can dismiss this entire episode. Like you can tell yourself, I don't understand your situation. Like, I don't get where you guys have come from. You can find reasons why this doesn't apply to you. You can go back to the same pattern, or you can recognize what I'm telling you, that I'm telling you the truth that nobody else will, right? And that truth that in this industry won't tell you because they need to keep you buying challenges and programs. The truth that your friends won't tell you because they don't want to seem judgmental. The truth you won't tell yourself because it's too uncomfortable. You're not failing because of lack of knowledge, time, or resources. You're failing because you're addicted to the drama. You're in love with the struggle. You're hooked on the heroic narrative. And until you're willing to give up that story, until you're willing to be ordinary in this one area of your life, until you're willing to consistently do boring shit without making it about your identity, you're going to stay exactly where you are, man, spinning your wheels, right? You're going to stay like a hamster on the Ferris wheel. Or the goldfish in the bowl. The fish in the goldfish bowl. Analogy, like I said, I don't know the difference between analogy and a metaphor. So you'll be successful in business, but struggling with fitness and slowly declining in health. All because you can let go of a story. All because you needed to be special. All because your ego couldn't handle being just another person who goes to the gym 3 times a week. So look, I'm going to leave you with this. You've already proven that you can achieve hard things. You've built something. You can overcome obstacles. You've succeeded where others quit. But you're applying the wrong strategy to fitness. The fitness industry has sold you a lie. They've told you transformation requires heroic effort, extreme challenges, and a complete identity shift. But the truth is simpler and more uncomfortable. You just need consistency, right? You need to consistently do the boring shit and get over yourself. That's it. That's the whole game. And most of you listening to this won't do anything different. You feel uncomfortable for about 20 minutes, and then you go back to doing whatever you were doing. But a few of you, the ones who are actually ready, you'll recognize yourself in everything I said. And you'll make a different choice. You'll give up the story, you'll embrace some boring consistency, and you'll stop trying to be a fitness hero. And that's where you're going to get results. Not dramatic, Instagram-worthy results, just real, sustainable, keep it for the rest of your life results. Because you finally stopped performing and started doing what actually works. And here's what I want you to do. Which step you're going to take today? Seriously, not tomorrow, today. And if this episode hit home, share it with another leader, because that's how we spread the message. And as I keep saying, as iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. Okay. And follow me on Facebook, facebook.com, Marwan Killu, or LinkedIn, Marwan Killu Fitness. Until another episode, have a great day. Talk to you soon.